Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Beyonding podcast. I am your co host, Myra Capri. I am a well-being and leadership coach. I put well-being at the forefront of leadership. And that just means that I focus on making sure the women I work with are taking care of themselves as they ascend in their careers without the burnout and the overwhelm. And I am so excited to be here for this first episode. I know what's in store, so I'm already smiling. I am here with my sister, mentor, friend, co host, Kailei Carr, and I'll let her introduce herself. And we're going to tell you all about Beyonding.
Thank you, Myra. My name is Kailei Carr. Thrilled to be co hosting the Beyonding podcast. I am the CEO of the Asbury Group and a coach, an advisor to leaders around the globe. I feel called to help people to come back to themselves,
Mm.
to lead from their entire being, to be conscious in their approach to their lives and their leadership, and to realize their divine assignment on this earth in whatever form that looks. So excited about this journey of beyonding that we are not only starting, but continuing.
Yes, yes. Oh, just your title alone and the work that you're doing excites me. And it's a great segue into this word, beyonding. And beyonding is a word that you created. And so I want you to tell us what that word means to you. And then I'm going to tell you what beyonding means to me just based on my experience with beyonding the community, all of the ways that I've experienced beyonding. But I want to invite you first to tell us how that word came.
I can't even take complete credit of beyonding. I feel like the community embraced this
Mm,
word. Way back in 2020, we started this, I guess, preface to what became the Beyonding community. First, the Beyond community, then Beyonding community. And we started talking about, going beyond. And, the first podcast under this umbrella was Beyond the Business Suit. And then we had the Beyond the Business Suit uh retreat, and we had the Beyond Signature series and some other beyond things. And when the Beyond community emerged, there was conversation about it being an action. It's
mm,
not a thing. It
mm,
is there's movement
mm,
to that word. It is a verb, right? It is something that you do, that you're committed to. And it was like this idea of beyonding emerged as something that we are committed to being a part of. And beyonding, honestly, is realizing the highest version of ourselves. It's
mhm,
going beyond self mastery, it's going into self actualization, self transformation. It is the evolution and commitment we have to continue to expand and evolve and elevate ourselves, to heal what needs to be healed, to grow in all the ways that we need to grow. And that is a lifelong process
mm.
that doesn't end. It's not a destination, it's continuous. So those are the things that come to mind when I think about beyonding. Beyonding really is a movement.
Woo! You just summed that up. I can't stop smiling. I am so excited, not only about the movement, but how and what people will experience by just tapping and tuning into this podcast and all of the other ways beyonding is going to show up. Some ways we're not even aware of yet. right? So
Yes, yes. Yeah, so tell us, what does beyonding mean to you? You have personified beyonding, Myra. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Thank you, Kylie. Well, I'll just say that you have absolutely been a catalyst for my beyonding experience. And when I think of beyonding, I actually think of it almost being a way to ignite yourself and others, right? And so my experience with beyonding is it doesn't just stop with me. I am ignited and activated. I have momentum to carry it forward, to pay it forward, right? So my experience has been taking a leap of faith to leave a very secure job with benefits and getting paid every couple weeks. I know when I'm going to get paid, I have the benefits, and leaving that secure job and saying, I am going to follow my passion to be a coach without any clients. So I took a leap before I had one secure client, knowing that I will be provided for, knowing that this is a part of my calling, knowing that I have support and community, and I'm not doing it alone. Beyonding for me was being able to tap into a community of women that some had already been on the journey that I'm now on. Some are just starting the journey, and some are a wise sage that can tell you all about the pitfalls and the learnings and the things that help me on my journey. And I have not turned back. Once I became a coach, once I launched my business, let me just tell you, it has been life changing. And so beyonding is taking the leap. Beyonding is doing those things that scare you and still showing up for them and being content, knowing in your heart that you're not alone. You're not alone. It's a community, right? And so you mentioned the community, Kylie, and I just love to hear a little bit more about how the community has evolved now into where we are with the podcast.
Yes. So as I mentioned, we had the predecessor to the Beyonding community, which was the Beyond Signature series, which emerged back in 2020 at a time when we were planning on having a retreat in Arizona. And then the pandemic hit. And instead of doing the retreat, we decided to have a series of conversations over the course of 3 months that allowed us to come together in community with the speakers who were planning to be at the retreat. And we created a platform as a way to stay connected. And when those 3 months were over, after a period of time when we had George Floyd's murder, we had, so much conversation around race and justice. We had the pandemic and being at home and feeling isolated and all of those things. When it was time for that program to be over, everyone said, we can't close this community. We need each other.
Mm,
So in 2021, we launched what then became the Beyonding community. And for the past over 4 years, this has been a safe haven for such an amazing group of women who have come in and out during that time. We've seen beyonding babies and relationships and businesses, and some relationships end and reemerge, and passions explored, and books released, and so many amazing things, healing upon healing upon healing, connection and lifelong relationships that were created. And it's been amazing to
mm.
see how really to see God at work through
Yeah.
this space. And last year, I had really a divine download that said, this season is coming to a close and a
Mm,
new season is emerging. And it was hard to be obedient to that because it has been such a life changing community for so many people, right? It's
mm,
been that safe haven. So it was clear that it was evolving and that now in this next season, it's not just about a platform with, 70, 80 women who are coming together through programming and experiences online, but that this movement of beyonding is supposed to be spreading its wings.
Mm,
And that through this podcast, through our YouTube page, through other experiences, we still have the Beyonding Retreat, which we're gearing up for our 2025 retreat in December. All of these conversations need to be widely experienced. So I'm really excited to see this podcast be a catalyst to these conversations that have been kind of isolated, right? Every single conversation in the Beyonding community have been incredible. I mean, the gems. So to see those gems
mm.
ignite others more broadly is, I am so, I keep saying excited, but I am excited to see how it takes form.
Yes, yes. You just touched on so many things. One thing that stands out is the idea of beyonding being obedience, right? Beyonding is obedience,
Yes.
and that's actually my word for the year. So those that choose a word for the year, my word for the year is obedience, and I actually had a bonus and trust, right? Trust and obedience.
Ooh,
Yeah, and
hand in hand.
mm, they go hand in hand, Kylie, and you spoke about it when you made the decision to allow the beyonding community to evolve, even amidst all that's going on right now, and being in a place where you contemplated, like, is this the right time? I know I hear from the divine, and let me just tell y'all, Kylie is intuitive, and she hears, and her gut is rarely wrong. And so she heard that it's time to evolve the community as it looks today. And so that trust and obedience came from a deep place, knowing all that was going on in the world. And to me, it reminds me of how you can. I always talk about this idea of surrender, and it's you have something that you're holding on to. And surrender means you can release and open up and let God come in, if you will, right? It doesn't
Yes.
mean that you're losing the thing. It means that you're just releasing your grip, your tight control over it so that life can happen, so that spirit can flow, so that what is meant for you can be given to you. And I think that's what you're doing with the beyonding community, with the idea of beyonding. It's
Yeah.
trust and obedience. That is beyonding. And let me just tell you, when y'all tap into that, when you can believe in something bigger and greater than yourself, it creates worlds. It creates worlds.
Yes.
This is beyonding.
This is beyonding. And I love how you mentioned three words that I think are building blocks from each other. There's there's surrender or there's obedience,
Yes.
there's trust, and there's
Yeah.
surrender. So it's
Yes.
like obedience, you hear the call, it's like, okay, I need to be obedient. You have to trust in order to be obedient and then let go so
Let go.
God can come in. And I love how those that obedience and trust are to your words for
Mm,
this year. Oh,
yes, for sure. What is your word for the year? Do you have a word for the year?
yeah. I have 3 this year. Usually I have
Okay.
1, sometimes 2, but this year I have 3. One is space.
Mm,
So bringing more space into my life so that I can have a healthier pace.
mm,
And y'all, it's a work in progress. I
mm.
didn't pick that word until January, and January's schedule was already jam-packed. So starting February 1st, it was, I was starting.
Yes.
And we're in the beginning of February when we're recording this right now. And I'm still a work in progress, but that's a part of it. So space is one. Alignment is my
Mm,
second word,
Love it.
and really doing things that are in alignment with who I am and why I am here on this planet, and saying no to other
Mm,
things. And
mm.
then 3 is joy, and if you're watching the video right now, do I have it? Oh, no, it's on the bottom.
Okay.
I'm burning this candle right now from Grace the Collection, which is an amazing Black
Yes.
female-owned, candle company based out of Atlanta, and, I'm burning their joy candle that is just so
Mm.
good. So bringing more joy and play. I was getting too serious. I was
Mm.
getting too serious, and last year, I did a better job in allowing myself to be more playful, and I want to continue to embrace that.
I love joy.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Um, that is just amazing. I love your 3 words. If you're listening on this podcast, let us know what is your word for the year or words. You're allowed to have more than one. And, we just love to hear that. I Kylie, think about timing, right? And I mentioned
Mhm.
how it seems odd that you be called to temporarily close, if you will. I know we don't like to use that word, but change the way the beyonding community exists today to evolve, right? And you hear from God and your instruction was just get through Q1, right? But Q1 has already been so much, so heavy with all
Gosh.
that's going on in the world. We just recently had our last community connect in the Beyonding community. And there were so many great stories that were shared of how women are being impacted by your yes. You saying yes to starting this community. And it sometimes feels bittersweet to think, oh no, we're shutting this down or changing the way we're showing up in such a time as this. And I know I know all about divine timing, and it's never quite our timing, right? So, what would you say if someone's listening that's like, I really, really miss the Beyonding community as it was, and I feel like I need community right now because things are crazy.
Mhm.
How would you respond to that? What are some of your thoughts about beyonding and community in the future?
Yeah. No, that's a great question, and I would say that the community platform may be closing in the form that it was, but the community, the beyonding community is alive and well, and you know what? It's just beginning.
Mm,
Every woman who has ever been a part of the beyonding community was there on purpose and
yeah,
had the opportunity to connect with some incredible women.
yeah.
And I will say that I believe that this podcast, our YouTube page, whatever we're called to do under the Beyonding umbrella, will call people to it. If you're listening to this right now, it is not by accident that
Yeah.
you are listening to this, that you were called to this podcast. So go ahead and subscribe right now because there is something here. There will be a lot here for you. Beyonding calls people to it.
Mm,
And it is not a Kylie thing. So yes, I was trusted by God to birth it, but it was very clear from the very beginning that it was not supposed to be the Kylie Carr community, the Kylie anything community. It is
yeah.
beyonding and it is something for us all to own.
Ooh,
So I would say, if you need community, find it. And I know that we will have many more opportunities, even through this platform, to bring people together who are called to the lightness, the brightness, the beauty, the igniting that is beyonding.
huh, that's a whole word. I felt that in my spirit. And, I think about our ancestors and how one of our superpowers, honestly, Kylie, is community. Like we
Yes.
come from ancestors who lived in community We are not meant to live this life alone. We are
Yes.
not meant to live this life alone. The resources are always in your community. What you need is always around you. And so, if we tap into that energy that's in our DNA, we know we're tribal folk, right? We
Mhm.
know that there is so much power. What is it? Better together?
Better
We are
together.
better together. And so beyonding is just that, it is community, and it doesn't just exist on a platform, like you said, it is in us, it is who we are,
Mm.
and we're redefining what community looks like. This podcast is a way, but I know there's so much more that's to come.
So
So let's,
much more.
yeah.
Can I mention something? Because my eyes are welling up over here.
Mm,
As you're talking, Myra, and you mentioned our ancestors,
mm,
and I don't know why I'm getting, like, choked up about this. You saying that, I'm looking at the screen, and on the screen, we have the Beyonding logo. A part of the Beyonding logo, the I in the Beyonding logo is there's a pink star,
mm,
and that star is supposed to signify this light that is within us, and this igniting light that is
mm.
connected, and, even in our logo for the Asbury Group, it has that star, and what I was reminded of it was Harriet Tubman and
Ooh,
how she was guided by I'm gonna, like, straight up cry on this. This is ooh, how she was guided by the North Star, and that if you saw the movie Harriet, it became clear that it wasn't only the North Star, it was her connection to God. God directed her to freedom. And she made sure that the opportunity, the guidance, the divine guidance that she received, she brought other people with her.
mm,
And she was connected. She knew that it wasn't just about her. It
mm.
was bringing people along. And I'm just feeling in my spirit how as, part of this hosting, team and people people listening, you will be able to hear from Myra and me and others from our team. We are guiding people to that freedom, that personal freedom. It's a different type of freedom, although it may feel like the same freedom, but we are guiding people to the light. We are guiding people to their light within. We're guiding people, and it is a community effort. It is a collective effort because we know that anything that we experience is not only for us.
Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. It's that same energy, that same spirit that drives us. It's light. We are light. We are guides. And it is a power that ignites others. It is a light that ignites other light. That is it. You nailed it, Kylie. I don't know if there's much more to say. What can people expect? And I don't know what
Ooh.
else to say, you
I
know?
don't either. I mean, I'm really excited, Myra, for people to hear more from you. And you are such a gift. I mean, you talk about me being, intuitive. You are too. You just have
Mm,
such an incredible ability to connect with people and allow people to connect with themselves and
mm,
to just create a space for people be to
yeah.
be themselves freely. So I think even you mentioning what you did allowed me to be with this moment and for that to come through. So I'm really looking forward to that. And, in terms of what people can expect with this podcast, you'll hear, as I mentioned, you'll hear from Myra, you'll hear from me, you'll hear from other people from our team, you'll hear from guests that we invite on who are beyonding.
So
You know, so yes, so that you can experience what it is, and you can bring more of that into your life.
yeah.
So
And you
what do you think people will get from this?
yes, 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 yes. You will be able to define beyonding for yourself. You will feel it, you will experience it, you will know it. I appreciate all that you said about me, and I wanna bring that into this podcast, into these conversations. That's what they are. They're conversations with sisters, with friends, with community. And I always valued and have always valued, I didn't have words for it as a young girl, but I realized it's human connection. I've always valued human connection, even when I worked as a project manager for a top consulting technology consulting firm and didn't know why I was there. Because me and technology aren't the best of friends, but it was the human connections, the relationships that I built that I was called to. And that has been a common thread throughout all of my life. I value people, I value deep connection, and I want us all to live well. And so if I can do anything to help someone live just a little bit better than what they're living today by their terms, not mine, then I am beyonding. And I am so grateful to have this gift and this calling. This is
Beautiful.
beyonding.
This is beyonding.
This
So
is
we
be
would love for you to hear from some people who have been a part of our community over the years and hear what beyonding has meant for them and what how it's shown up in their lives.
Thank you, Kylie. I am excited. I can't say it enough. This will be epic, and, happy to be a host. I'm happy to you all who are listening. We're gonna become great friends. We are gonna create a community. You all are welcome to our community. Welcome to
Welcome. Welcome to Beyonding.
welcome to Beyonding.